Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Mona. Actually, this paper I'm going to try to summarize for you or take the results of it is written by Dr. Faid Saeed, who is unfortunately not with us today because of some actually circumstances. The paper which we are talking about today is actually a result of a research Sheikh Faid has done it for University of Arizona, and it was about new Muslims and their needs. And from the statistical here which we are having, I'm trying to summarize, it's really very important, and we are going to publish it at the end, completely all of it. Why there is this research, or this research was done? Actually, it was done to give some guidance for Muslim or Islamic organizations, Islamic centers, to know more about the new Muslims, about their needs. Also to design some programs are suitable for the situation, for the needs. So nobody will design programs based on his imagination only, but it will be based on facts and on statistical. Sheikh Faid put some questions, a questionnaire of course, in this kind of studies to get some results. And I will get some of them here, and really some results really are interesting. For example, one of the questions is, what is the most common age group among the converts to enter Islam? What's the age? Actually, the majority is between 26 and 35. That's the age, most of them. After that, then you will have the age of 66 plus. Those who are old, they are coming to Islam. Of course, the lowest age we have is about 15, 16 years old, and these people, those actually teenagers, when they come, we always ask for their parents to be with them and to know about it, because they need guidance from their parents. Another question talks about what is the most common ethnicity to convert to Islam in your center. Of course, this questionnaire was distributed to many centers, and that we are reading the results. What is the most common ethnicity? The most common ethnicity is you have British white, that's number one. You have then mixed races. British white is about 30%, 37% of the new Muslims are white British, and then also 37 also are mixed races, and of course there are other few groups after that. The third question, or the fourth question, what is the least common ethnicity convert to Islam? The result here shows that is the Europeans white, who are not British. Of course, you can expect this result because the study is made here in the UK. So definitely, logically, then majority will be from the country. He hasn't done this one for all Europe, otherwise I believe the results will be different. Another question was, what is the most common religious background of the converts? You can expect, of course, because we are in the UK, Christianity is number one, and the least common religious background coming to Islam, you can imagine that is Buddhist is the lowest. Yes. And then more than Buddhists, Hindus, and then of course, and Judaism. Judaism and Buddhism, they are the lowest, and then higher than this Buddhism, and then of course the highest is Christianity, because the majority of people in the country are Christians. And the Jewish community is always a small community, it's so expected to be a few people coming from them to Islam or to any other religion. For Buddhism, I think also they are minority, they are very small minority, and also there is another reason. There is another reason I believe about Buddhism particularly. Buddhism actually is classified, and this is from me, this is out of the paper. Buddhism is classified by many researchers or many academic is actually not exactly a religion, but it's a lifestyle more. Why? Because Buddhism doesn't pay that much attention to metaphysical issues. Buddhism doesn't talk very rarely or even never talks about God, about Allah. Who is Allah? What is He doing, for example? What the relation and connection with Him? It's not like in Islam, not like in Christianity, not like in Judaism, not like even in Hinduism, not like other religions. All these religions, you will find like metaphysical part of the religion, which is the most important sometimes. While Buddhism focuses on your behavior, your daily behavior, no violence, mercy for animals, etc., etc. The only thing that is Buddhism actually has a metaphysical, the issue of what we call it in the history of religions, transmigration of souls. When someone died, then his soul will go out from the body, then it will take another body, and then he will be reborn again, and then start another life. His start life will be the karma, where he had the punishment or he had the reward, according to the Buddhism philosophy. I don't want to go deep in this, but this is the issue. Maybe it's this one of the things actually, and that's why Buddhism sometimes classified as religion, sometimes classified not religion. Okay, this is a very very important question. After that, well, do the new Muslims have any experience about religious discrimination? That's a very important question. Well, we find that is yes, 50% of the Muslims actually they got as a kind of religious discrimination, and 25% they said, well, sometimes, and the rest said, no, we never have this. Now, some result of all these questions we have here, that is, we find out, or he found out, the researcher, Dr. Fayed, that is the Islamic Cultural Center and mosque, of course. When I say Islamic Cultural Center, that means the Islamic institution in general. Either they are mosques or Islamic centers like this one or other. Islamic institution give more attention to the new Muslims who are in 26 till 35 years old. And they are the majority. And then Islamic institution in the UK, of course, where this is where the study was made, they do not have any clear vision or plan for the people who are very old or the people who are very young. So they are always focused in the middle. Many of the classes or courses in Islamic centers and Islamic organizations do not meet sometimes the needs of the new Muslims. Of course, we are here reading the results that is he had. Whether we agree or disagree, this is another issue, but we have to read that. There is a lack or shortage of youth programs. There are also a lack of educational programs. And also there is a lack about how to communicate with the new Muslims, the converts. They are, when they become Muslims, then there is no communication, or the communication is very weak after that with Muslim institution, and this need to be actually tackled or need to be addressed. Of course, the advices of the results is he's giving advices to how to establish new programs for communication or new initiatives for publication, recommending also using the modern technology, using the internet and other social media also platforms, how to communicate with the new Muslims. Also, one of the gaps he said the institution have, that is programs for the families, bringing the families together. There are also very few programs. We need to increase more programs for tahfidh al-Quran, memorizing al-Quran al-Kareem. I don't know how actually what we can do about this. Maybe some of you will come with some new mechanism or something about how to do this, to fill these gaps in this study. Another question was in the questionnaire was actually about the sex, or let's say the gender, about who actually are more men or women, female or male. We find that is female who came to Islam, they are 68% of the converts. That means they are more than men. This is interesting, and I don't have any answer for that. But anyway, maybe women feel more than men. Could be. They have high feelings or emotional. Okay. Yeah, we read this one. I read about. Okay. One of the interesting results that is the second religious background actually comes after Christianity is atheism. It's not another religion, it's atheism. The atheists, they are the number two coming to Islam after Christians. If somebody can please help with the noise of the... Tell the sister just to go down, maybe the child will be busy a little bit and then she can come back with him. Okay, we come to some results also. Why people come to Islam? What's the motivation? What is that thing that inspired them? Number one, we have 66% of them actually, they come after their own individual research. They did some research and then the research led them to Islam. Another one, which is also big percentage, that is because they knew some Muslims who had good manners and good behaviors. They are taken by the good manners and the behaviors of Muslims. The third one, which is 40%, it is for those who actually saw or met with some people who are making da'wah, preaching for Islam, maybe outside or maybe through the TV or through the social media or maybe attending here or anywhere. And after the programs, they actually became Muslims, and this is 40% of them. And those who actually have, because of some experience in a certain situation, they are less than 30%, those who have their own experience after a certain experience, individual experience, they are touched by it and then they come to Islam. We come now to the needs. One of the needs that is Muslims actually mentioned, the new Muslims, the converts raised here, is the challenge of Arabic language. Yeah, that's number one. They said actually we need Arabic because we need to come closer to the Quran, and of course we all know that is in all these like literature works and religious works. It doesn't actually matter how accurate the translations. It will never replace the original text. This is everybody who study literature knows that. This happens in every language, not only in the Quran, but especially also in the Quran, because the Quran is the highest text ever in Arabic. There is no other text higher than the Quran in Arabic language, all of it, from the beginning till the end. So to go to this text, because it was only a challenge for the Arabs. Arabs, you know, in their history, they are maybe one of the best people or nations when it comes to poetry, when it comes to prosa. They are some of the best. And they have literature even from the pre-Islamic time. So when the Quran came to them, that was a languagical challenge for them, shock. To say, well, this is one of the miracles. See the text, read it. And the Quran said in many verses in the Quran itself, I challenge you if you can write like these books. Until today, the challenge is still valid and still standing. Nobody wrote anything which is similar or even closer to the Quran. And all Arabs, even those who are very clever, and the scholars in Arabic language, they know that this is very high, very high, very high. They cannot match it at all. We have, of course, a lot of literature, maybe since 200 years before Islam. We still have the poetry from that time. But there is a difference always. That's why actually the Quran in the history of Islam is something like a shock to wake up everybody. As if you are walking in the desert, for example, and then finally or suddenly there is in front of you like a very high building, very high, very well engineered, very well equipped with everything. It is alone standing in this actually desert. There is nothing there similar to it. Then there will be, of course, a question, how did this come here? And this is exactly the image I'm trying to make it closer to you to imagine it. So the challenge of Arabic language was the first one. Another challenge is really many new Muslims or converts, they have a lot of difficult questions. And sometimes they cannot say all these questions to everybody. Sometimes about the tawheed, about the belief itself, about some issues in the religion, and they hesitate about telling it. So, and there are a lot of misunderstanding about these questions. This misunderstanding is not yet answered by many of them, for many of them. Okay, there is a lack. Many new Muslims said there is a lack of the programs talking about the Prophet's biography. We need to know more about his life. We need to know about his behaviors. We need to know about the situations he dealt with. Actually, there is a lack of that. Another thing that is they ask for it. We need programs actually for families, for our own family. When you become a Muslim and your family is not a Muslim, so I want my family to try the taste with me, to try the experience with me, so to bring them at least to some social programs to be with us. So there is a lack of this one. This is according to the study who made this. Then he suggested actually some programs to cover these educational needs. I don't need to go in the details of all that. But one of the suggestions he made is to focus on Arabic language and to increase the courses for Arabic language in the Islamic institution in general. Alhamdulillah, we have also here a program for Arabic language in the Islamic Center, and we have 3 levels and sometimes 4 levels also. And programs also this is one of the recommendation. Islamic institution, they should really have programs to answer the questions of the new Muslims, especially the misconceptions about Islam. Many new Muslims, you cannot blame them for this because they came from different backgrounds. So it is naturally expected that they will have unsolved questions or questions that they haven't heard the answer, or sometimes even some questions they had the answers but they are not that much convinced about the answer and they need to know more and more about it. So programs are recommended to take care of all these problems. One of their suggestions also that is to have, of course, the family programs. This is the third suggestion. One of the suggestions also to have program for recreation. Muslims, especially the converts, they need recreation in a certain way, an environment where they feel that they can enjoy the recreation as Muslims also with others. This is also recommended. As a result of all that, Sheikh Fayed, the researcher, actually is recommending or give some recommendation. One of them is really the Islamic institution supposed to renew and reform again their programs for the new Muslims, according to the results, according to the needs, the real needs that is the new converts have, not according to the planning based on self-imagination or I decide something for them. They have to decide for themselves. One of the recommendation, of course, some of the programs is a program about Aqidah, about the faith, the Tawheed especially, the monotheism, which is the foundation platform for Islam, all of it. Then increasing, of course, what I said to you just about Arabic language, programs for biography of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is all recommendation. Then Islamic institution must work together to form a committee. That's one of the recommendation. To form a committee from different institutions together to address these ways in one vision. Not vision, or every center has different vision. That will really scatter the work, and then the result will be sometimes limited. Sometimes it will be successful there, it will be not successful in another area. Islamic institutions supposed to train the converts and train the Muslims themselves also how to make the da'wah, how to call others, how to introduce Islam in the right way, not introducing Islam in the wrong way. One of the recommendation, very important recommendation, is to have continuous seminars like what we are doing today, or this is one of them, of course, and recommendations also to make conferences to discuss about the realities and life of the new converts, and focusing also on the integration and the psychological side, which sister already talked about, and the questions we see after the paper from Sheikh Khalifa. Some people ask about families. What about my family? What shall I do with my parents? All these questions actually show you how important the social dimension of it. Now, some new Muslims understand Islam in another way. If you become Muslim, you have to have cut with your society, and you have to have cut with your family. That's not true in Islam, of course. It is exactly the opposite. When you see the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your Islam, then you have to try to call your family to it. This grace of Allah which you have, try to bring other people, your friends, your mom, your dad, to everybody, because you love them so much. Show them your love. And in Islam itself, Allah mentioned this even in the Quran, that is actually you have to take care of your parents even if they are not Muslims. And we know that as many Muslims in the early days of Islam, they became Muslim because of the manners of the Prophet ﷺ, and because of the manners of the Muslims, not because of preaching, direct preaching. Direct preaching, people always, when you come to them to say, well, listen, tell me what's your religion. Okay, I am a Jew or a Christian. Oh yeah, by the way, can you answer this question? This challenging sometimes doesn't work, and many people always will step back. Even if you have the truth, they will step back. They are there try to defend themselves. While if they see how yourself you behave, how honest you are, how kind you are, how you deal with people, how you deal with your neighbors, with everybody, this is the best way actually to let people see the real face of Islam, not the face that is I want it to be presented, but the real face that is really Islam is presenting. Many Arabs actually accepted Islam because they saw how the Prophet, he was so honest. When they agree for something, he never cheat. And even the non-Muslims, when they were asked about him, in that time they were not Muslim yet. And someone asked them, does he cheat? They said, no, we never had actually seen him lying or cheating. He is very honest and very direct. So that was really one of the points that brought the Prophet ﷺ. So we ourselves as converts, as Muslim, born Muslim, either we like it or we don't like it, but this is the fact. People are watching you. You are a messenger of Islam. Even if you say, well, I'm not a messenger of Islam, I'm like if someone says about himself, he or she is a bad example, but still some people will take you as a model of Islam. So you have to be very careful with this. As when you are taken as a model, you have to watch that is really you should represent this high religion and representing the Prophet ﷺ in his manners and his ethics. These actually are the most of the results. Of course, and recommending using technology, using social media, etc. These are, of course, normal, and I have mentioned some of them. This is a summary of the study. It will be published, inshallah, by the center after, inshallah, this seminar. If there is any comment or a question, maybe if I had time, Ahmad, can I take questions or okay? Questions or comments, by the way. If anybody wants to add something, then please. That will enrich the.
I was asking about copy of this report.
I told you it will be printed.
Second, I want to ask you what is the best list of books to given to non-Muslim?
What is the best?
Books.
I see.
Because we must have some really good books, not any books.
That's a good question, but it doesn't unfortunately have a final answer.
All right.
Because, no, I'm telling you, because it depends on the reader himself. Some people you can say, okay, read the Quran. When they read the Quran, they find it. That's it. Some people you will give them, we see in the back, we have some books. For example, one of them is This is Islam. This is very good for many people, but nobody can claim, say, well, this book is the best ever in all the situation with all people. That's not possible. It depends on you, what you want, or what he or she is looking for. I remember the book written by the French thinker, Maurice Bucaille. It was about science in the Quran and Torah and the New Testament and the Old Testament. What the man did, actually, he went to the facts, the scientific facts, like, for example, the earth is round like a ball, and, for example, the planets, whatever, and about creation of human being. All these actually things about scientific facts. He took them, and he said, let's go to see how the Old Testament talk about it. Whether that accepted by science or not accepted. And we will go to the New Testament to do the same. And then we will go to the Quran to do the same. The result he came with at the end, he said, there is nothing in the Quran contradicting with science at all, from the beginning till the end. He didn't only say that, but he said, actually the Quran gives you also some verses which are really very, very, very advanced, maybe before the science and now recently discovered. Yani when the Quran told us, for example, the sun is moving in the space. For many centuries, people think sun is going around the earth, of course, and now it's exactly the opposite. Earth is the one who's going around. This we knew this, of course, since long time, since about 14th century, 15th century. But the Quran mentioned also the sun is moving. Now, nobody mentioned this. Recently, in the last 3 decades, they found out that it's really the whole solar system is moving. The sun with it and everything with it. This is exactly the verse in the Quran which was unusual. Some people say, you see, the Quran, you said it's a divine book from Allah. It says the sun is moving. Sun is not moving. The earth is moving. But now it's proved. So all these people, those who are interested in science, they can go to this approach. They will find what they want. Those who focus on theology, they will go to the Quran. Those who focus on, for example, on social things, they will go to those who focus on manners, behavior, human communication. How Muslims supposed to be actually with the society, with people. This will attract them more. They will go to it. So there is no final answer of this question.
Okay, my third question.
Is he allowed to have 2 questions? I'm not the manager. Ibrahim, long time he didn't come to us. Let us have.
Do we have Islamic centers like a guidance or protocol how we invite non-Muslim, because each of them different from other? How we talk to Christian, how we invite Jewish, how we invite Buddhism. Do we have something like
well,
that?
it's not, I don't know anybody actually who is doing this you mean like the way in for example, like some Christians do.
For example, I want to invite
Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, they have questions for, if you meet a Muslim, discuss these points. If you meet a Catholic, discuss these points. If you meet a Buddhist, discuss these points. If you meet Buddhism, discuss. If you meet a Jew, discuss these points. No, we don't have that. As far as I know, maybe there's somebody, but I don't. Usually, what most of Muslims talk about, they immediately go to the monotheism, to Tawheed and Aqidah. That's the main thing when they start with.
Okay, the fourth thing
maybe somebody did something like that, I don't know. As far as I know, no. We have different books written everywhere. Some of them are good for some people, others are good for others. So everybody can choose what he thinks is good, yes, for himself.
I suggest if we can arrange a meeting for those du'at and some of new Muslims.
This is what he suggested, to create a committee to take care of this.
High education, high experience, what we should do in the future.
Okay.
Not for general.
It's recommended, actually. Yeah, it's recommended.
Okay, thank you.
I'll take another.
We have session after the lunch, open session for questions.
Open session for questions.
Oh, sorry.
You want to take the
Next page.
no question from the sisters?
Thank you very much for introducing this piece of research to be published, but I think it's very brief. It needs to be expanded.
Yeah, well, I have here around 50 pages, so I try to jump from one page to another to summarize.
Research, and 2 professors have read it, and they told me this is very very brief, you should be adding more chapters, and that's what I need to do. Historical aspect, cultural, tangible and intangible heritages, and all these, it needs to be expanded. It's so
Yeah, so I told you, sister, in the beginning, it will be printed, it will be published. But in this moment, in this session, we just get the results. But the paper itself will be published later, inshallah, with other also papers from the other speakers.
Thank you.
So you just wait, that's it. I need something new. Don't repeat what we have said, please. Give me something new. Anybody who has additional thing, okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
I think the speech and talk was very good.
Alhamdulillah.
But I want only to comment on that.
Please.
The first there are two comments. One comment is on the how to, for the new Muslims or for anybody actually, the behavior, the akhlaq. Akhlaq is most important. Because the Prophet Sallallahu the Wahi or the revelations came when he was 40 years. Before that, the people know him, that he was the most truthful and his behavior. That behavior and that truthfulness attract the other Muslims when he called for that there is only one Allah on the 20. So Muslims have to show, you have already mentioned that, Muslims have to show through their akhlaq, their surrounding people or other religion, that Islam is best. If you talk about that, you said also, if you talk about Islam, then they will run away. But if you show with your character, with your akhlaq, that you are the best person, then they will be attracted, then they will ask you about. So this is about the most important for the Muslims is to be you said that.
This is mentioned, Doctor. Give me the second one.
And the second one about Islam. Now the question which we come about Islam, if somebody who has accepted religion, Muslims, for them there are many questions. And then you have to refer to there are scientific way, there are the philosophical way, social way, economical way, all these aspects are there in this Islam. But when you enter into Islam and you became Muslim, then it comes, then the reading, there are a lot of books, materials, there are no problem. But the main problem which I think and I guess is in the character of the Muslims, the akhlaq. If they can produce themselves and lastly,
maybe some people agree with this, some people disagree, I don't know.
And lastly, whether people agree or not agree, the last things I will mention, he is now the Rais of the Haramain, or the president of the two holy mosques. His name is Imam Abdul Rahman Sudais. He came once and he said here that you are here the ambassador of Islam. So you.
Everybody says that, Doctor. Everybody says that. All Imams and everybody says that.
But he was when you are in.
Well, this has nothing to do with the status as an Imam in the Haram or not. This is advice said by all Imams and all.
Many people they say this, but if you analyze his character, he is far from Islam. And whatever is happening with the Muslim community, because again, Dr. Abdullah Nasir, who was the president of the King Abdullah University, who was also the...
Okay, Doctor, the third point is the same as the second. You are repeating the same idea, which is the ethics of Muslims and the manners of Muslims. It's clear. So there is no third point. That's it. It's the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, actually, the manners and ethics we talk about it. It's actually mentioned in the study, and they mention it already. And but still, questions are very important. Also, people by nature have. Not only those converts, but even the born Muslims, they have sometimes difficult questions. Sometimes they keep the questions in their hearts because if I ask the imam or I ask somebody, a scholar, about it, he might misunderstand me. So they keep the questions in their heart for a long time. And I remember in the program, which hopefully, inshallah, with Brother Ayaz, it will come soon, which is Introduction to Islam. That is, maybe some of you already attended in it. Introduction to Islam is a monthly program, which we used to have it actually every month, once, a whole day like today. And I always, because mostly I'm the main speaker, with Peter Bennett, who is not here unfortunately in the center now, usually at the end I say to them, if anyone has questions in private, I will be happy to receive it. And then I used to go to my office. Some sisters and brothers followed me one by one. They come in my office and they come with really genuine questions. Some of the questions about atheism, the existence of God, is God is there or not. Some of them about some verses in the Quran, they find them difficult to understand as Muslims. Some of them about social issues. Some of them whatever. Actually, this is thing we cannot stop it. It will be continue for converts and for others also, for everybody. And all religions have the same issue, by the way, not only Islam. So it's the most important is we give space for these questions to be answered and to be dealt with. Another point that is we should raise a question. We don't need to be afraid of raising questions. Even somebody actually said to the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah, sometimes we have questions about the creation, the existence, all of it. And then we ask ourselves where we come from, who created us, Allah. And then we come to the question that is who created Allah? That's the final question. Then he said, when you reach this level, stop. Skip this question. Because why? Because if you ask about who created Allah, and there is a creator, then the first Allah is not Allah anymore. Then the other one is the creator. Then again, the same question will come back again. Then there is another creator. Then the same question will come back again. It's endless. There is no end of it. So you reach nothing. When you reach Allah, stop. Because this is beyond your imagination, beyond your thinking. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't blame the person who asked this question. He didn't say, how come you are awful, you think of... No, he just accepted. He told them what to do. He said, say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala away from the shaitan, because the shaitan is the one who asking you, trying to put this in your mind. Allah created us, okay, then a question, who created Allah? How did he come? Where was he before he created the universe? All these questions. And atheists, by the way, till today there is these questions. One of them is the evil question, or the question of the evil issue in the world. If God is there, how can then he allow all these evil things to happen? Where is he? Atheists raise this question, but the question must be addressed, and we have to come. And the question, by the way, is raised not only for Islam. It's for Islam. It's for all these, the divine religions who came from the same source. I mean, the three religions: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. It's the same question for all of them. If Allah, you said, the source of kindness, the source of goodness, the source of all things, then how come then this happened? There are, folks, answers for this question, but I want to tell you that is actually the questioning is always there. It's continuous progress, continuous practice. Don't worry about it. Just speak up to somebody you think he can answer your question. And if you don't find the answer with this person, it doesn't mean there is no answer. Maybe this person doesn't know, but we'll go to another one who knows. And we all know that is Imam Malik himself, and he's one of the greatest 4 imams. Someone in one session asked him about 40 questions. More than 30, he said, I don't know. And he answered around 10. And then he said, Imam, what shall I do? What shall I say to people who send you to me? He said to him very simply, say to them, I asked Imam Malik about it, and he said he doesn't know. That's it. You say, I don't know, it's better than creating a wrong answer. And unfortunately, for example, in the Muslim community today, you will find those who spread wrong answers because they don't want to say, I'm sorry, brother, give me a chance to check this. I don't know, I don't have the answer now. He feels shame to do this. What the result? He is a new convert. Just give him any answer and that's it. He will be happy or she will be happy. Yeah, but you are misleading a person. That's the most important. So don't answer a question unless you are sure about your answer. You don't know, it's not a problem to say, well, give me a chance to look for it. I don't know, let me ask somebody who is better than me in this, than to answer the question. Thank you very much. Now it's time for prayer. They are giving me a sign to say stop talking. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.